Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nikodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. on Thursday, April 6th, 2023. And tonight, for our cover story, we have some CBDC alerts. First up, South America, where the Central Reserve Bank of Peru has released a paper exploring the need, design, and timing of a central bank digital currency. The report, focused on retail CBDC, aims to address issues with competing payment services in Peru. You see, the bank believes that introducing a CBDC, along with new policies to improve access, that can help overcome barriers to financial inclusion and reduce transaction costs. The objective of the CBDC is to provide the unbanked population with access to digital payments, so it's important to understand their characteristics for an implementation strategy. Because Peru faces some serious challenges. Around 50% of the population, they don't have a bank account. And it's not just because of poverty. The majority of those unbanked people live in non-poor households. That said, almost 79% of them have no savings. Which I want to take just a minute to explain this here. Studies have found that when people have no bank account, no safe place to stash their cash, they just spend it. That's why it's so important that people have options to store their value, even if it's in just a crappy old bank account. Now, the unbanked typically work informally in urban areas. Most of them have cell phones. The use of digital payments in Peru has increased dramatically since 2015. According to the report, the current publication is the first of 5 steps towards a potential CBDC. That said, no timeline has been given for its development. The Central Reserve Bank of Peru released a 25-question survey for potential users. Now, those surveys are due back by April 30th. Peru received technical assistance from the International Monetary Fund to create the report, so keep that in mind. In November of 2021, CBRP President Julio Velarde announced that Peru would collaborate with India, Singapore, and Hong Kong for CBDC development. And speaking of India, where 2 people who are familiar with the matter say that architects for India's retail central bank digital currency, they want to increase the digital rupees user base to 1 million. They're currently working to create an offline version, which is their top priority right now. In March, the Reserve Bank of India officials stated publicly that they were aiming for 500,000 users by July. However, that number has since been doubled. One source stated that India's population is the largest in the world. And so, based on that, they felt that reaching 1 million users should be easy. They estimated that it will take around 3 months to hit the goal. The Reserve Bank of India is conducting both retail and wholesale CBDC pilots. The retail pilot involves over 13 banks and is currently active in at least 15 cities. The pilot began on December 1st of last year, and in the last 4 months, over 100,000 customers have participated, so they're around 1/10 of the way there. The bank's governor was speaking at a media conference, and he said that India's digital rupee generated a lot of interest at a recent G20 meeting in Bengaluru. He shared that an international finance expert praised the design of India's CBDC. They jokingly said that the only thing that was missing was the smell of new currency. To address scalability and offline transaction challenges, the RBI started a hackathon in 2023 aimed at finding solutions. The hackathon also aims at increasing transactional throughput. Creating a digital currency system that enables offline transactions can help improve financial inclusion in emergency economies like India. The central bank is investigating the use of wearables, Bluetooth technology, and smartphones to enable offline transactions. They're also addressing the risk of double spending. Scalability, however, remains a key issue. The RBI has been in discussions with private companies to explore solutions for improving scalability. However, they haven't partnered with any significant blockchain-related entities. Not yet. The RBI has not specified a timeline for launching a complete retail CBDC. However, they've previously indicated that they aim to launch it by the end of this year. And from India, let's look at nearby Australia, because one of Australia's largest banks, ANZ, participated in a pilot project run by the Reserve Bank of Australia and Digital Finance Cooperative Research Centre. They used central bank digital currency to trade carbon credits with Grollo Carbon Ventures. ANZ tokenized Australian carbon credit units and traded those credits with GCV. ANZ smart contracts settled the trade in near real time, and the transaction was backed by Australian CBDC denominated in Australian dollars. Nigel Dobson is ANC Banking Services lead, and he believes that tokenization can improve efficiency and transparency, reduce risk, and incentivize investment in climate solutions when applied to carbon markets. ANZ will participate in 3 Australian CBDC pilot use cases. The other 2 use cases are for offline payments and pension fund payments. Now, beside these 2 projects, ANZ will also distribute the CBDC. A report released by the Cato Institute claims that if the US government issues their own central bank digital currency, it could harm private businesses and the freedom of the people. The government is currently considering the creation of a digital dollar that the Federal Reserve would support. The Cato Institute has analyzed the situation, and they've concluded that it poses a threat to both the privacy of citizens and the free market. The Cato Institute is clear in its report. CBDCs have no place in the American economy. They recommend that Congress should prohibit the Federal Reserve and the Department of the Treasury from issuing a CBDC in any form. The Institute cites several reasons for this recommendation, including concerns about surveillance and manipulation, harm to the free market, and cybersecurity threats. The report's authors explain that private sector is not entirely safe. That said, it is more decentralized than the government, especially a federal government. If a private institution is breached, only some of the citizens would be affected. Whereas an IRS breach, that puts all 333 million Americans at risk. This issue isn't just about the United States either. The Federal Reserve says that around 60% of the global financial liabilities and claims use US dollars, which means privacy concerns would be global. So it's not known if or when the US will release a CBDC. But the FedNow service is launching in July. And frankly, I've seen a lot of FUD and misinformation about FedNow, even coming from official sources. Let's be clear. FedNow is not a CBDC. FedNow is coming in July. The process for adopting a CBDC in the United States hasn't even started yet. So don't let the fearmongers get to you. FedNow is not a CBDC. If you have concerns over FedNow, just let me know in the comments below. And if there's enough interest, maybe we can do another episode on FedNow. And also, if you think this whole CBDC thing is overblown, that the threat is overstated, well, let me know that too. Speak up in the comments and be heard. And in the meantime, the discussions about CBDCs are still heated on Capitol Hill. Congressman Tom Emmer is a Republican and serves as the majority whip. And he believes that CBDCs could be harmful to individuals and political opponents of the government. Now, if you're still with me, I'm going to take just a moment to ask you to like, follow, and subscribe to The Overnighter. A little bit of attention like that goes a long ways towards getting this show in front of more people. So thank you for that. And as listeners know, Signature Bank failed last month. New York Community Bank Corp took over most of the assets and some loans. Clients with crypto-related accounts were informed that their accounts would be closed soon. Signet, Signature Bank's software for crypto transactions in USD, well, that was in receivership at the FDIC. Despite the turmoil, Signature Bank's collapse didn't affect Tether. That's according to Paulo Ardoino. He's their chief technical officer. However, Bloomberg has reported that anonymous sources claim Tether used Signet, Signature Bank's software. Reportedly, Tether did not have an account with Signature Bank. Now, Tether said that they used Signet as one way to connect to the global banking system. Tether also used other banking channels and counterparties to avoid risks and weaknesses. They said they made sure that their entities weren't affected by Signature Bank's collapse. Now, currently, it's unclear if Tether's use of Signet was approved by Signature Bank for all such transactions. Alma Anjadi, a former SEC and Treasury Department representative, suggested that Signature Bank may have allowed Tether to use Signet as a way of working with a stablecoin company without taking on all the risk. If Signature Bank allowed the arrangement, it may indicate a high-risk appetite. Signature Bank may have deemed it less risky than opening an account for Tether directly. Now, Signature Bank would not have faced legal risks by dealing with Tether since the company has never been sanctioned. Additionally, Signature Bank and its employees have not faced any allegations of wrongdoing regarding their dealings with Tether. And let's stick to the subject of Signature's closure here. Adrian Harris is the superintendent of the New York Department of Financial Services, and Harris denied that the recent closure of Signature Bank was related to its exposure to digital assets. She spoke at the Chainalysis Links conference in New York City, and she claimed that the events leading to the bank's failure was a new-fashioned bank run. Harris also called the suggestion that the closure was due to crypto exposure ludicrous. Harris called the notion that taking control of Signature Bank was related to cryptocurrency or choke point 2.0 absurd. She said that without proper liquidity management protocols in place, and with a high percentage of uninsured deposits, a bank cannot be considered safe and sound. Signature Bank closed on March 12th. That was just 2 days after Silicon Valley Bank's collapse and 4 days after Silvergate Bank's announcement of closure. All three banks had close ties to the crypto industry, and also consider the Federal Reserve Board's rejection of Custodia Bank's membership application. These events have fueled theories of a coordinated effort by U.S. regulators to disconnect crypto from the banking system, a theory I happen to believe in. This has been called Operation Choke Point 2.0. That's a call out to an earlier effort to disconnect legal but controversial businesses from banking services. However, Harris believes that this is a silly idea, saying that regulators are not attempting to debank the crypto industry. Harris said that the rules and the guidelines of her department require virtual asset companies to have a solid banking partnership with well-regulated banks. She also mentioned that while some in the industry find her department rules burdensome, they provide a clear path for crypto companies looking to operate in New York. Harris stated that having transparent rules in black and white is the best way to grow a strong and responsible ecosystem that can innovate, integrate with traditional financial services, serve customers, and make markets more efficient. She also said that it's the quickest way to achieve these goals. Singapore's central bank and police authorities have teamed up to help banks in creating consistent standards for assessing crypto account openings. This initiative has been ongoing for around 6 months. Additionally, a separate industry report is expected in the next 2 months. This report would outline best practices in due diligence and risk management. This report will cover stablecoins, NFTs, and gaming credits, and will also focus on firms that offer payment services. According to a spokesperson for the Monetary Authority of Singapore, there are no rules preventing banks from working with crypto players. Banks must undertake customer due diligence measures for these customers, just as they would for any other current or potential customer. The goal is to comprehend and mitigate the risks associated with these customers. So far, the authority has not prohibited banks from doing business with digital asset firms. However, banks are going to decide whether to accept such clients based on their risk appetite. Now, compare this to the US, where authorities have been cracking down on banks that serve crypto clients, resulting in the collapse of several crypto-friendly banks like Signature, Silicon Valley, and Silvergate. As a result, crypto companies are now looking for banking partners and jurisdictions to conduct their business. India and other countries have previously implemented similar shadow ban measures, their own choke point 2.0, I guess. Dubai's Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority is tightening regulations for cryptocurrency activities. Reportedly, VARA has asked Binance and other crypto players to provide more information about their business requirements. 3 anonymous sources, cited by Bloomberg, said that VARA wants to know about Binance's ownership structure, governance, and auditing processes. And it's not just Binance. VARA is requesting the same information from all global crypto players looking for a license in Dubai. VARA officials have asked Binance for more information on its global group level and board procedures, but it's taking longer to address due to Binance's size and complexity. This scrutiny on virtual asset service providers in Dubai adds to Binance's problems. The exchange is also facing pressure from U.S. regulators. The U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission filed a lawsuit against Binance and CEO CZ. The CFTC alleges that Binance engaged in improper compliance procedures in trading. CZ rejected the claims and said Binance doesn't trade for profit or manipulate the market. He called the allegations, quote, an incomplete recitation of facts. In September of last year, Binance got a preparatory license from VARA. This license permits Binance to establish an office in the UAE and to provide digital asset exchange services to pre-qualified investors. However, the exchange cannot offer locally regulated digital asset services yet. To offer services to qualified investors, Binance needs to upgrade to an operational license. After that, it can secure a full market product permit. And so Binance needs to submit the necessary requirements to VARA to make that upgrade come about. Hex Trust is the only digital asset custodian that has an operational license from Dubai. VARA's website states that VASPs currently providing their services must comply with their requirements by the end of June. And speaking of Binance, ASIC, the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, cancelled Binance Australia's derivatives license. ASIC made the official announcement on April 6th after a review of Binance's operations, which means Binance Australia derivatives clients can't add or open new positions from April 14th. Users need to close existing derivatives positions before April 21st. The Australian Financial Complaints Authority's membership requirement for Binance continues until April 8th, 2024. So we know the Australian securities regulator reviewed Binance's financial services business. The review included Binance's classification of retail and wholesale clients. Joe Longo is the ASIC chair, and he said that the review was for compliance with the classification. Longo added that the financial services laws in Australia offer retail clients important rights and consumer protections. Retail clients trading in crypto derivatives also have access to external dispute resolution via the Australian Financial Complaints Authority. ASIC's statement mentioned the CFTC's lawsuit against Binance and CZ. They also said that Binance's group entities faced regulatory warnings and actions worldwide. In 2021, global regulators initiated a series of investigations and warnings against Binance. Binance chose to close down Binance Australia derivatives after engagement with ASIC. A Binance spokesperson said Binance would pursue a more focused approach in Australia. Now keep in mind, this is just for the derivatives trading. Spot trading on Binance will remain available for Australian residents. The representative added that about 100 users remained. Binance reached out to notify them of the winding down process. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.